I am one of the co-founders and chief operating officer for the Stafford Boxing Club Incorporated, our nonprofit organization, which is a yearly mentoring program for at-risk youth in the community.
So we will be able to teach financial literacy, communication, discipline, decision making, as well as campaigning for a premium education.
These are the foundation for the Stafford Boxing Club, these 20 mentees in our program here at Panola Way Elementary School. 20 years from now, Stafford Boxing mentees will be known across the world.
We go hard in the paint. What y'all think?
Hey, spiritual glove.
You
Yeah,
know
we
what it
doing the
is.
Shador Sanders on you boys, man. Yeah, Shador Sanders, no cap. Yeah, for
What's
real.
going on, everyone?
What's going on? We here. We back in the
Welcome.
building to the Stafford Show.
ATL.
I'm Stafford. This is Lady Stafford. You dig? And we excited today. We got a great show. Baby, go on ahead and break these folks off, man. For real. Go on talk to these
All
folks,
right,
man.
everybody, let me take a deep breath. Whew! The guest who we have on, he is the WBC Continental Latin Champion,
Okay.
the NABA,
Okay.
the WBA Federal Champion,
Okay.
the WBA Continental Champion.
Okay.
He's just a champion with whatever it is he does, he's a champion.
Baby, he's the people's champ.
Yeah, he is the people's champ.
For real.
That is what he is. And we are going to introduce Chann, the man, Thonson.
Bring him in.
Bring him out, bring him out. Hey, bring him out, bring him out.
Go.
What's going on?
Go.
What's going on, my boy?
Everything's
It's
great,
up.
man.
It's
Everything-
up, man.
Most
up.
definitely. It's staying up, you know?
For sure. Hey, man,
Everything's
listen.
Way up,
Baby, we got to break him
all
in.
the way
We
up.
got to break him in.
Okay.
Hey, man, we excited to have
Yeah,
you on
keep
the
it up.
show, the Stafford Show, Chann
For real.
Thonson. We want you to
I want to shout out to Boswell
wait a
Promotions.
minute. Let me
too.
go and get my man real quick.
Okay,
I
Let's
was
go.
rudely interrupted by Lady Stafford,
it happens
respectfully,
sometimes.
but I would like to take
Charge
this
that to the
opportunity.
game.
Baby, you gonna let me finish?
Okay. go
All right.
ahead.
So, charge to the game. We want to take this special opportunity to introduce our special guest today, Mr. Chann Thonson. My bad, bro. He's from
It's all good.
Canada. He is a champion on many levels. He's the people's champ. And we want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself and say what's up to the people who's connected to the Stafford Show.
I want to say hey, what's going on to everyone that is connected to the Stafford Show. I'm pleased to be on the show and pleased to have any new fans that will be following me after this show and to meet both you guys. And I'm here to show you who I am. And throughout my fights, you guys will get to know me better.
Very good.
And
Now,
I
baby,
believe
you want to do that?
too. Yeah, my bad. So I want to shout out to Boswell Promotions. I also want to shout out to Chris Johnson. He is a professional boxing coach, 92 Olympic medalist in 2020, Canadian Boxing Hall of Famer, and ambassador of boxing in Jamaica. What's up, Chris?
Hey,
So,
go.
hey, but look, Chann, we want you to introduce yourself to the people, tell the people a little bit about you before we get into our questions so they'll have an understanding and you can set the platform for how this
Okay.
thing about to go.
All right. Well, as you know, people heard, my name is Chann Thonson. I'm born and raised out of Montreal, Canada. I'm currently living in Toronto. Right now, I'm actually in Vegas for my training camp, preparing for my fight November 15th in Florida on Pro Box. I'm 31 years old, 15-0 as a professional with 12 KOs. So, you know, doing my thing. You know, I guess we'll get to know me as some of the questions goes on. So I don't want to say too much. Leave it for you guys, and then I'll say anything else that I didn't hear you guys ask. I'll definitely mention that. But you know what I mean. So I started boxing at 19. I've always been like what's the word I'm trying to say? Like loving like this art of war, boxing, martial arts. I've always wanted to be like a fighter. When I was young, Bruce Lee actually Bruce Lee was an idol of mine because he was a small man, you know. So when I saw like a small man doing such capable things, I said, wow, like I too can be, great in my own aspect. So I started a little bit of taekwondo when I was young, did a little bit of jiu-jitsu when I started boxing. My original plan was I wanted to be in the UFC, but after I had my first boxing match, it was like electrifying, and it was something that I knew that God was telling me, like, okay, you're gonna do what you need to do in the world through boxing. Boxing will be your platform to spread the word. So
I
yeah,
like that because a lot of times well, some of your interviews that you have done or you're saying is that you always want to give God thanks.
absolutely.
That's what stood out. I love that.
Um, yeah, and just to touch base on that, like, like growing up, I've always been like, in like, everyone faces through struggles in their life, right? But when you see like, famous people or people like of high power on TV and things, and then on one end you see like there's like a lot of corruption and like misguidedness in the world.
Mm.
I as a child, I used to wonder like how come none of them just easily take care of these problems, like why are people going to door in the hood asking for charity? So I said, you know what, if no one's gonna be the person to do it, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? So like I said, my passion for the martial arts and boxing and fighting coincides with what God wants me to do and what God wants me to say. So here I am. I always say I'm the warrior from the mountain that was told, go take care of the problem down there and spread the message and come back up. So I'm here just to clean up.
I like that. I like that. So, how do you prepare yourself physically and mentally before your fight, for your fight?
Okay. Is Are you asking me, just to clarify, to understand the question a little better? Are you asking me like before fight time, as before I'm about to step in the ring, or um like preparation to training camp?
Preparation through your training camp before the fight, before you even
Okay.
step into the ring.
Yeah, well, okay, so through training camp, like I said, our promoter Cedric Boswell, shout out to him again. He'll send us to Vegas. So, and then we're top level guys are here. Um, lot of cardio, a lot of sparring. So pretty much the basic, as you guys know, any true fighter will go through. I can't share all of the things that I do, you know what I mean? Because some of the things I do are secret to my preparation. But definitely the basics, the sparring, the running, kilometers of running, rounds and rounds of sparring, staying sharp, working with Chris Johnson on the pads, swimming, strength conditioning. So that definitely helps my body get in shape for the fight. And mentally, I kind of like to, I kind of slowly start to seclude myself as I get closer to the fight.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And again, like nothing is without God. So me, I read the word regularly, but really, really, I get into it a lot more so, and I get into a lot of prayer throughout my training camp. Like, let's say on an average, I'll pray once a day. You know what I mean? On a regular day, but throughout training camp, I'll be praying like sometimes 4 or 5 times a day, just to make sure all the P's and Q's are checked. You know what I mean? I believe all fighters to a certain degree are superstitious or have some sort of belief, whatever it is that they may believe and that they may do, just so that they could feel good. Because one thing I love about fighting and what keeps me sharp is that as soon as I get a date and I'm told, okay, you're fighting on this particular time, it's almost as if like there's like something in my mind that it's like I can never overlook this. It's almost like not a fear, for a lack of a better word, that holds me accountable to all the things that I'm supposed to be doing. And
Mm.
it's like in the past, let's say in one of my previous early fights, if I wasn't doing the things I was supposed to be doing, the nervousness will start to almost like eat me alive. You know what I mean? Versus when I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, that my conscience, that God is telling me to do, whether it be read more, train more, sleep earlier, not engage into any certain type of like argumentative conversations. I just feel prepared, and the regular nerves, like, okay, like I just want to get in there and hey, like if he wins, he can have it, because it's like the type of preparation that I'm coming for, the type of determination that I'm coming with. It's like I'll like I'll come close to death before I lose in the ring. You know what I mean? And I'm ready for that. So
You know
yeah.
what?
That's tough.
That's tough. Chann, I ain't gonna lie. You the first person that's been
Yes.
on our show
Yes.
that pretty much speak to our spirit
Mm-hmm.
because we are people who study the word of God regular. My wife, she was up. What time you got up this morning? What, 4?
No, I didn't get up at 4
What
today.
time
I
you up?
got up a little bit late. I got up at 6.
6. Well, regularly she get up around about 4:30. She cooks us breakfast. Then you get in your
Oh,
word
I get in my
first. She
word
get in her
first.
word first.
For sure.
Then she prepared us food and stuff like that. So I haven't heard a guest that came on the Stafford show that boldly
Facts.
talks about God and talks about his personal relationship and how important it is for him to set aside time for him to get into God's presence so that he can hear to make sure that he's on
Yes.
point. Because if he's not on point, then your spirit is not aligned with what God is telling you to do to be victorious in
Exactly.
your fight. So, man,
Exactly.
that right there is a plus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a check.
Yeah.
The
And
other
just
thing,
to, oh,
go
sorry,
ahead.
continue.
No. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Well, just to like add to that, like not to get too much into like to make this whole talk show about God, obviously, but just to make a small reference to Christ.
Oh,
And
wait,
it okay, go.
time
Okay.
out. Chan, one thing for certain, bro, you can never put a limit on what God
Okay.
or what
Good.
the
Good.
Holy
Good.
Spirit wants
Yes.
to do. You see what I'm
Amen.
saying? Because
Amen.
once you do that, now you put in that fight as your God in terms of you, because you saying that you pray, you in
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
tune with God, you spending time, but you saying, well, I don't want to make this
No,
man,
because I'll
listen.
go in because I'm scared because I know what
Man,
I'll do.
hold up, man.
I'll go
Time out,
in.
man.
I
Time
don't
out.
want. I don't know. I don't. I just met you guys, so I'm trying to maybe respect like their time and everything. So I like, you know what I mean? Like,
Chan, this is your time, bro. This
okay,
is your time. This is your time. However you want to do
It's
it,
all about
it's
you.
all about you, bro.
okay,
We just here to serve you. We have a platform and we want you
okay,
to speak. And we
yeah,
want you to speak to the masses. Your promoter is putting this on live on his Facebook, so everybody's listening to you. So
yes,
in terms of like you reaching out to a new demographic, folks want to know in this day and time, are you spiritually connected to God?
okay,
Are you
okay,
really walking with God?
yes,
Besides boxing, besides you,
yeah, exactly,
accumulating belts and want to fight this fighter and that fighter, what type of core purpose do you have that I can expose you to my children, to my son,
yes,
to my daughter
exactly,
who's in the sport of boxing? You see what I'm saying?
yes,
So let's go bigger than boxing. Go ahead.
okay, perfect. Because I was gonna say basically the same way, like when Christ came down and all he said like all the works that he does is of his father and all the things that he speaks is of his father. So in a sense, it's like when you're in tune with God, you know what I mean? You start to realize that it's nothing really, about you. When you follow the word, like you guys are blessed, so you guys found each other, so you guys get to be together, you know what I mean? But when you start to come to Christ and follow the word of God, the things you do and the things you speak are really of your own accord. You know what I mean? Most of the things that you do are for God. So being of competing, the main reason I compete is to do those works. I always said, like, I've always been like a truth seeker, I would say. Before I came to Christ, I'd always say I was a truth seeker. And I've always said to myself, when I start fighting in America, that's when God is going to call me. I don't know which way, manner, or how he's going to do it, because I've been told many times that I was well with my words and in my speech and how I talk. So that's why I said I want to use my voice to use the platform of boxing and speak to the world, right? And so God told me, and by me saying God, knowing that God was going to call me when I start fighting in America, that's why God had brought me closer to Christ, because He said, "You're going to say what I want you to say. Don't worry. I'm gonna bless you with the things that you need to be blessed with in order to succeed, as long as you continue to walk the path, you know what I mean, and be able to bear the cross that I've given you, and you're gonna speak the word that I'm gonna tell you." Because I used to sometimes compliment in my mind, like, damn, what would I say to like help change the world, or speak in a manner that people could think and be like, think for themselves and change. But it's not about what I'm gonna say, because when the time comes, God's gonna speak. You know what I mean? I'm here to act in a similar fashion, the way Christ came to act. And the messenger has to be the message. You know what I mean? The message, you can't just come and preach a message and you're not what it is that you're talking about. I have to be what it is. So with that being said, sometimes training camps get very strict because I'm like, oh, okay, like I gotta do it's okay. I gotta, I gotta turn up this way, I gotta turn up this way, I gotta turn up this way, gotta read more this way, gotta read more this way, do my best to like, what I'm saying? Like hold the cross and walk with the cross that God has given me. But I do it with all joy, with all joy. I'm
So
truly happy with
basically,
it.
so basically, what you're saying, Chan, is that you boxing to give God the glory.
It's through our name, through the Son. Amen. Yeah.
And so the other thing I wanted to talk about was like Canada, right? It's a
Okay.
lot of professional athletes is really starting to penetrate through American sports, baseball, football, basketball. Um, is it fair to say that you are now starting to align yourself with the athletes from Canada that's migrating to the US to make a name for themselves?
Absolutely, because like after my fight that I had on,
Wait, hold up,
Yeah.
hold up, the volume. I don't know what happened.
can you hear me or no?
Eric, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to your volume.
Okay, I
Something
know it's
happened.
like it's shifting.
Oh, okay, there you go
Okay.
now. Now
You can
go
hear
ahead
me?
and say what you're about to say. Yeah.
Okay, I was saying like what's it called? Absolutely, because I said the fight that I had on Showtime, it was on Hall of Fame weekend, which was a big stage. That fight for me, I feel like kind of like put me into the realm of like high professional athletes in Canada because most of the world had saw that fight and all of Canada, I know that saw that fight, and whoever didn't see the fight saw it because it was shared by somebody. You know what I mean? So and continue to winning in the fashion that I'm winning and making a name for myself. Um, Definitely it's putting me up there with any top athlete that's in Canada. It's only a small amount of time before we're either on equal playing field or a little bit higher. And I say a little bit higher not to discredit any athlete in Canada. It's just that boxing is in its league of its own when it comes to sports. You know what I mean? And at the same time too, I'm fortunate to have a twin brother. You know what I mean? So wherever my twin goes, it's like if I let's say I didn't have any friends in Vegas. Anybody that my brother befriended in Vegas is my friend automatically. You know what I mean? So it's like I have someone out there working on my behalf and vice versa. If you know him, you know me. If I work over there, he's getting the fame in a sense as well. You know what I mean? So shout out to my brother.
You know what, Chan? I also want to say, like, I think a lot of you guys from Canada, so Canada is a very diverse, just like America, but it's a
Yes.
little bit different. You got a lot of people from, man, from all over all walks of life, all parts of the world. But the thing that I see about people from Canada is that y'all have pride about being a Canadian. And so when you box, not only do you box for yourself, but you box for your country. Here in the US, it's not like that. You know what I mean? Like us African Americans, we may fight for our family, fight for our kids, and our community, but in terms of fighting for the country, that's why I believe that boxers from Mexico and other parts of the world, they have uh, a little bit more to fight for. They more passionate because they
Mm-hmm.
come from a country that supports them. Whereas in America, it's a little bit different, but at the same time, it's a land of opportunity.
It's funny you say that though, because I feel like I personally feel like it's the opposite. Like most Canadians that I've come across, Black Canadians at least, if you ask them where they're from, like if you ask me where I'm from, as an American, I'll tell you Canada, but I'll tell you I'm Jamaican. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like most Americans that I meet, when I say, "What's your nationality?" They say I'm American, but it's like, what is your heritage? You know what I mean? A lot of Black Canadians that I came across, when you ask them what they are, they're going to tell you what their heritage is. I've never see in America. I've never really seen people in Canada have Canadian flags outside of their house, but I've seen that a lot in America. You know what I'm saying? So I believe it was the opposite because, when it comes to sports per se, like look at it, Americans don't even have to leave America to make millions of dollars in their country for sports. You know what I mean? A Canadian can only become big in Canada when he leaves Canada and then comes back. Because so for me to be doing what I'm doing in America makes me big in Canada. because I'm doing what I'm doing across, you know what I'm saying, in like across the street. But if I were to just stay in boxing in Canada, I wouldn't be big in Canada. People know me now because of what I'm doing over here, more so, you know what I mean? And so when I come back, then it's like, oh, and then that's where I feel like the pride comes for Canadians, where it's like, okay, like I'm doing what I'm doing, and then it's like, I don't know what the world. I know in the sport of boxing, Canadians aren't dominating the sport of boxing, and we're not really a threat. Like, you know, like see the UK, they have a big boxing. Mexicans have a big boxing. So it's like me, I'm going in as a Canadian Jamaican, where it's like, okay, I'm Jamaican, but nonetheless, Jamaicans don't have a big boxing following either. But Jamaica, knowing that I'm representing them as well, the whole country would automatically be behind me. Whereas Canada, it's like, I gotta win, I gotta do this, and then it's like, oh, you see, even Canadians are good at boxing too, even though it doesn't really necessarily matter where you're from, but where you're from does. Let's say, to me, where you're from is like, uh, um, okay, like if you were, you know, coming from Mexico or coming from somewhere, I just feels like it just gives, depending on where you're from, gives you a little bit of an edge. And I'm saying even hardship. Like if you have hardship, it gives you edge too. You know what I'm saying? So depending on where you're from, gives you a little bit of edge to a certain degree. Then when you get to the high level, I feel like it comes down to who you really are. You know what I mean? Because I've faced enough hardship outside of boxing in my life to know that it's like I can fight. You know what I mean? In terms of like, I'll go in the ring and I can lay it all down. You know, I'm prepared to do that. But yeah,
Man, that's good. That's good analogy. And I really, when you was talking, it was just, my mind would just start going in so many places. And so you talk about Jamaica, and so you right. Being that you from Jamaica, the whole country gonna support you. Every
yeah,
time someone from Jamaica do something
the
that
whole
is, I
country,
mean, the whole
the whole
country, and
country.
that's something that I wish that we received in America,
Hmm.
particularly the African American community, but we don't do that. But like Africa, Mexico, Puerto
Puerto Rico.
Rico, the UK,
Behind each other,
Jamaica,
behind each
I,
other.
I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about, man, the crowd come out, they bringing flags. I'm
Yeah,
talking about they
and
thick.
that's our hope. You know, that
Yeah,
guy, he's our
exactly.
hope. He's so
Exactly.
it's like it's kind of like in the like it's kind of like the Jesus thing where it's like that's our representative. You know what I'm saying? The
Correct.
best. You know what I
Correct.
mean? He
Correct.
represents the people of. You know what I mean? He's our
Correct.
beautiful, unblemished character that we're going to use to represent our country. You know what I mean?
Correct. And one of the things that I like about you is that your post fights and your pre fight, meaning like before you talk, I mean before you step into the ring, your conversation is not like, you know how some of them guys are to sell
Yeah.
a fight. They be yah talking about your, you know, your girlfriend, your, you know, just
Mm-hmm.
cursing all this and
Not
all that.
necessary.
No, man. And then when I seen you talk in your post fight from your last fight, you talk with a level of confidence and
Oh yeah.
assurance
100%.
that you belong here because you put in the work. And
Yeah.
so when we
Exactly.
talking about being a representation for Christ, we have to demonstrate that outside of the ring. We have to have that Christ-like
Yes.
character. And so, man, I
Exactly.
want to tell you, like, that right there makes me like you even more.
But
Not
yes.
necessarily your, I
Yes.
mean it's cool that you have a 15-0 record and you fighting on this platform, and eventually you're gonna become a world champion. Like, we just believe that. Plus I'm speaking it into an existence.
Amen.
But
Mm-hmm.
I like character. That's what
Yeah.
motivates me. That's what stimulates me about a man. I want to see
Mm-hmm.
what your character is like when you get these millions of dollars,
Yeah.
when you are under
Exactly.
adversity. Those are the type of qualities that I want to see in you, because in the process of you getting to the top of the mountain, and by you never having anything coming from a humble background, you always gonna act a certain way. But once you start getting that money, it's gonna
Yeah.
bring out what's truly inside of you.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's why again, like I, you know, it's truly necessary to like again, to hold God first. But this is I never really understood the saying like fear God, but it's like when you read the word, you kind of understand. And I don't fear God in the sense where it's like I'm nervous to do what it is that I need to do. You know what I'm
You
saying? It's like
respect
because
them.
I understand the love of God as well. You know what I mean? But I'll never turn my backs on Him. You know what I'm saying? Just like a quick analogy that you guys will know, and anyone who reads the word will know. It's like technically we're all at one point in our lives have been led out of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? At one point, and have been brought into that forest for 40 years, and we're wondering, and it didn't look like what it was going to be that was promised. But just because it seems like that, I'm not going to say, oh, get mad and get upset and be like, oh, nothing's going my way, and then turn my back on God from where He delivered me from. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always going to stay true to that and understand that He has my best interest at hand. Like, for instance, for those who don't know, it's been said. I've said it a few times in some interviews, but my first 6 fights were in the span of 4 years. We're in the span of 4 years. That is not good for a professional, because most professionals have at least 6 fights in their first year of boxing. I was fighting once a year because I turned down contracts that I didn't like from my own city that I didn't like. I was getting advice from a man at the time to me who was considered a mentor. I was getting advice from him. People knew him, they didn't really respect him, but he was looking out for me, and the advice that he gave me ultimately was the best one. But at the time, it's like I had to basically go through my forest, be let out of Egypt as well. And I was fighting once a year, and it was so hard because I just kept saying, I'm like, I kept saying to myself, I didn't even know scripture at the time, but I just kept saying to myself, those who are first will be last, and those who are last will be first. I said, God, why are you making me do this? Why are you making me train? Like, I was somewhat depressed because I'm training like a fighter, like a professional fighter, with nothing ahead of me. So it was hard. I'm always making sure that I was staying in shape, staying in shape, staying in shape. Plus, I was working at a restaurant called Portofino in Montreal. Shout out to them because they're like my family, because I don't really like to work places, but I stayed there for 5.5 years. And then finally, my brother was with Chris Johnson in Jamaica. They're basically going for the Olympics. COVID happened. They came back to Toronto. I went to Toronto with my brother, and then Chris had known Cedric from their past. They are friends, and he asked us, kind of like a show and tell. So he flew us out to Miami to spar, and he liked what he saw, and he signed us. So it was funny. So this is like another testimony as well, because I told Cedric, I'm like, in a sense, you're like an angel to me, you know what I mean? Because you're giving me a shot where it's like I could even get a shot in my hometown. But God always knows what you need. You know what I'm saying? So this is why you have to wait. You have to wait. Cedric told me that he only got back into boxing in 2019. So my years of suffering were all before 2019 and up until 2020. It stopped in 2020. It stopped at the end of 2020. And then all my suffering and my struggles that I was facing. So then I said, wow. When he told me that, I said, wow. It's almost as if like sometimes God's blessings are like a connecting flight to your destination. Sometimes you'll have one flight and you can get straight to it. But sometimes you might have to wait at the airport for 10 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours. You don't know. You know what I mean? And then for the right flight to bring you to where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Because God knows your heart and knows what it is that you desire. So it was Cedric, in a sense, it was like that. It's like I was waiting for those 4 years, like what's going on? And every time I almost lost hope, I got that one fight just to keep me going a little bit. Every time I almost did fall, I got that one fight, and then boom, you know what I mean? And then not even a year and a half later, I have all these medium belts in between that are putting me in the top, that rank me the top 10 in the world for the WBA. And I'm number 2 in my country. It's always going up and down between me and another guy, but I'm number 2 in my country, and I've done things that no one has done in my country. And they've been boxing consistently. You know what I'm saying? So all this to say is like the trust in God is for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Go ahead, because I can talk, so I want to let you.
Okay, so I want to get to. I was watching some of your fights, and you
Yes.
are very aggressive. Like
Okay. Thank you.
you are very aggressive. And the other thing that I like too is that you listen to your coach,
Yes.
because in one of your interviews, I believe your coach had told you to go to the top
Yeah,
because
the
you kept
hook.
on
He
The
said, "Get
overhand
doing the
right.
body
Yeah.
shots, which I know you like. And I also saw in your last fight what Floyd Mayweather does, like when they are swinging at you and then you're walking back, and it kind of seems like you're comfortable with it because you know what you're going to do, because either
Yeah.
you're going to slip or you're going to duck and you're just going to turn around. So I want to mention that. So, what is your strategy
Ho. Hey, look, Chann, you hear her talking that talk, right?
Yeah.
Okay, bet. All right, go ahead, babe.
So, what is your strategy when you are fighting an opponent that has a different fighting style than you, especially when it comes to that southpaw? Because that southpaw is,
Tricky a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah. But fortunately for me, I've always been like fortunate to like be working with so much southpaws that I don't actually have too much problem with them because I've worked with so much. And there was a point in my house, I was living with a father figure of mine. His name's Steve Gadula, and his son. I was helping his son. I was training his son in boxing, and his son was a southpaw who was 170 pounds. So it's like I was living with him, like worked with him, sparring with him. So I always got comfortable to that distance. And as far as it goes to my what is my strategy to dealing with any type of opponent, I'll have to say this goes back to like my love for Bruce Lee, where it's like I have to be like water. I have a certain dimensions of like a system about myself where it's like my strategy and my my approach is based off of speed and defense. You know what I'm saying? And being defensive, make sure I'm not getting hit. And then whatever, if I have to come forward and be aggressive, then I'm able to do that. My coach has also brought other dimensions out of myself that were hard for me to develop myself. That's what a great coach does. So if it calls for me to come forward and step on him, then I'll do that. Like for example, the Showtime fight that I was boxing against a kid named Tyler Tomlin, and they were asking me how was the fight gonna go, right? And I'm brutally honest with myself. I mean, with my opponent. If he's good and there's something that is to worry about, and like he's super fast or he's super strong, I'm gonna not lie to myself. Oh, like he doesn't have anything, and then it's like I'm preparing for something. I'm just preparing regularly. It's like no, if he's super fast or he's super strong, I'm gonna take that into consideration so that when I prepare, I'm aware of that. You know what I mean? So we're gonna adjust the training camp towards those things to remove those things from him. But the kid that I was fighting, and I was being honest, I said he was basic. He had basic skills, really basic skills. Me and my coach, we both knew that. The only thing that he could do to guarantee, let's say, to help better him have a victory against me was to make sure he's in shape because he can control that. His skill, he's not going to be able to change that within the time that he's fighting me. So I knew that by far I had the more skills than him, and then I said he's basic. So they said to me, "How is the fight going to play out?" I said, "Listen, the fight's going to play out like this. We're going to box. I'm going to box him. I'm going to use my speed against him. I'm going to be on my toes, use my jab, find my openings when he find my shots when he opens up." And I said, when he realizes that he cannot box with me, he can't have that tit for tat match with me, he's going to try to be aggressive. And when he tries to be aggressive, that's when I'm going to capitalize on him. I'm going to hurt him. And then when you see me walking forward, the fight's over. Because I'm a guy who likes to be on my back foot. I like to calculate things. I like to calculate. But now if you see me taking a step forward, that should indicate automatically that I have him. It's a wrap. He might not get, if he's strong enough to survive, then that will be on his own accord. But in terms of like my distancing, my timing, my speed, how I feel comfortable getting in and out, it's like if you see me walking forward, because I got you for the most part. There might be one day where I have to come forward regardless of how I feel because of the type of opponent that I have to do, and that's how I'm going to approach him. You know what I'm saying? Every fight isn't the same for every fight. Like a lot of guys, they study film, right? They study film. But maybe I'll tell you guys this off air because I can't say this because there's a secret to studying film. You know what I'm saying? It's
Okay.
not just you just study and it's like, oh, okay, you study because every fight's different, but there's an actual method to studying film. Whether people know it or not, I don't know, but I don't want to say it on
Gotcha.
No,
No, we don't
no,
want
no,
you
no,
to
no. We don't
either.
want you to do that.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a sidebar conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly.
who are some of the old school
I was
boxers
just about to ask
do
him.
you watch?
Sugar Ray Leonard, Pernell
Yeah.
Whitaker. I like more, yes, I do like more the old school fighters. Sugar Leonard, Pernell Whitaker. Ali is definitely close to my heart because it's like he was the people's champ. You know, I liked how he was respected. You know what I mean? So Ali for sure. James Toney. I like Roy Jones. Um, a lot of the old guys, but definitely Sugar Ray Leonard, strictly for
See,
his boxing ability and his heart. It's like when you talk about like a guy who's like, it's like who's like I said, who's willing to lay it all on the line too, and because when I saw him fight like Tommy Hearns and he's getting beat up and you're getting beat up, but to be able to get to be in the situation of getting beat up and still have the will to be
Yes.
and be focused on winning. A lot
Yes.
of guys like they can be getting hurt, and then feeling like, okay, I'm done. Like I can't go through this anymore and check out. Like I don't know if you guys saw the Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia fight.
Mm-hmm.
They kept announcing it as like the two best fighters in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, to me, what I saw was a good fighter versus one of the best fighters in the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I'm not saying that he didn't get hurt with the body shot, but when you're talking about great fighters, best fighters, get up. You know what I mean? You have to get up for that from that shot. It's like that shouldn't be enough to hold you down, no matter how good it was. Because when they counted him out, he stood up right away after the 10 count. But
Mm-hmm.
if he was really in pain, he wouldn't have been able to get up even after the 10 seconds. They would have been like, they would have had to assist him up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you're saying great fighters and top world level fighters, when I think of like, I always come back to the fighters from the old days, because there was no social media. Now all of a sudden you can go to boxing gyms and you can see, and it's not a bad thing, because I actually believe everyone should learn how to box. I'm not saying compete, but the thing is, my point is, that's what also made it soft. You can go to the gym and you can see some gyms you can go into and it's like a boxing fit. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's doing it to get in shape, right? Which isn't very good. I like it because you're learning 2 in 1. You're getting in shape and you're learning technique. But back in the day, no one's just going to a boxing gym for fun. It was not saying, oh, we're gonna go to boxing gym to get in shape. It's like, yo, there's monsters in there. You know what I mean? Like boxing gym is
Gorillas.
grimy, stinky, sweaty, small, like
Yeah.
dark, like a dungeon. And personally, that's why I like the gyms in America, some in Vegas. When I see like two gyms that are too like extravagant, it's not that I can't get I can still get my work in, but when you're going to, like when we met Cedric, I forget the name of the gym. We went there, and this was like one of the first times that I'm coming to America. So I'm in Miami. We walk to the gym. Everyone's like, there's bare Latinos, a lot of like Latin guys. All their shirts are off. They're in their training gear, sweating, smelling. Instantly, I was nervous. Like I'm like, yo, like these guys don't play boxing. Like these guys, I'm like, you can hear the bag, the way they're punching. It sounds like these guys are hungry. I can feel the hunger here. So me and my brother, we spoke to each other after, because we were feeling the same thing. Because in my mind, I don't care. I don't care. Like I've been in the forest for 40 years. I'm tired. Like I need my shot. Cedric has to like me. So I was just kind of like digging, like pumping myself up. But when I went into the gym, it was grimy. You know what I'm saying? There was so much sweat on the floor in the first day. It was like boxing on ice. It was hard. You know what I mean? It was
Wow.
crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
Hey, have
It's
you
crazy.
ever been to the to Mayweather boxing gym in
I
Vegas?
went there once.
How was it?
Yeah, I went there once. There's actually there's a Canadian dude, and you guys definitely will know him too, because he's a young boy. He's 16. He's a true man of God. Him and his family. His name is Joseph Brown.
Oh yeah, I heard.
True
Yeah.
man of God, and he actually got signed.
Yeah.
He's in. I think I'm not sure if it's for sure, but he's basically been boxing out of the Mayweather gym a lot right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Floyd was taking interest in him. So
Mm-hmm.
I went there once to watch him spar, and I trained a little bit there. But we have a few things that we're going to gyms that we're connected to out here that we work with.
What's the gym like at Mayweather? Is it real nice?
No, it's real nice in the sense where it's like, okay, like there's bright lights, it's white. The gym is nice, but if you look at the gym, you could tell like the floor, like okay, by the stains on the floor, that it's like there's a lot of wars there. It was hot. There's only a few bags. So that's what I mean. Like when a boxing gym, you don't really need too much. So it's like just maybe like 6, 7 bags, a ring or two, speed bags, and boom. Versus gym is like, this gym has this and this and this and this and this and this. It's like, yo, the less you have to complete the mission, the better it is in a sense, because it has to come
Mm.
from you. You know what I'm saying? If you rely on too much, when you get into that fight, there ain't none of that. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So it's like I always say, this is what I learned during COVID, because there was nothing was open. I said the gym isn't really a place that you go to. It's more of a state of mind. You know what I'm saying? Because when someone goes to the gym, they get into that mode, like, yeah, I'm ready to train. But as long as you have your arm's length of space,
Mm-hmm.
you can have the same mindset. That is your gym. You could right there and then. A lot of guys from jail, they don't have gyms and they're just in their cell and they're getting the work in. You know what
They
I'm saying?
putting in
By any
work.
means. Yeah, so the gym to me is a state of mind, a place you go to in the mind, not really an actual place. You know.
Mm, I like
Chann, you know what? I ain't
I
gonna
like
lie,
that.
man. We have had, several, fighters on our show, but you,
You really stand
nah,
out.
I'm serious.
You
Nah, I'm
you
serious.
you
I,
stand
I'm I'm
out.
serious. Like me, I'm the type of person that'll give a man his card because I'm a confident man. I'm a leader. I know who I am in the spirit and
Amen.
in the flesh. And I like to give other leaders their flowers. I like to compliment them. I like to encourage them. I like them. Hey, bruh, you are very intelligent. You speak well. You have a different mindset of terms of activating your mind. And
Yes.
the power in your mind is what makes you propel to a different level, and I like that about you. You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
Like just listening to you, I'm like, okay, I bet.
Yeah.
Because what the analogy that you just used about when guys are in jail, I mean, their space is like,
Tiny.
it's so small, but at the same time, they utilize that small space to accomplish their goals. So there
Hmm.
is no excuse for
Yeah.
them. They're like, I will make the best of this situation. And a lot of them
Exactly.
guys come out because they do a lot of body weight
Exactly.
calisthenics. So they rip, they flexible, they got power,
Yeah.
so forth. So I got some more questions, but this is one of the questions I want to ask you. So
Okay.
that fight with Charlo and Canelo, what's your opinion on it?
It's funny. I met me and my brother had an interesting morning that morning. Sorry, the day before his weigh-in, 2 days before the fight, me and my brother had an interesting morning, like, a God conversation. And we saw Canelo in the gym. We were just the only two in the gym, and we saw him in the gym 2 days before, so it was cool. That fight though, I feel like Charlo's words and his attitude didn't match his performance.
Hmm.
Because it's like you say, Lions only. Like, I mean, I give him his credit because as a fighter, like, once again, to get into the ring, to do what you need to do, it's like I already know what it takes. You know what I'm saying? So, but he's at a different level with me, stepping in the ring with the best fighter in the world. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I give you all your credit. But if I'm gonna critique and think about what it is that I saw, then what I feel like I saw was uh, a man whose words didn't necessarily, his actions didn't necessarily back up his words, and wasn't willing to like I feel like there should have been some moments where he's just like, yo, I don't like, yo, I'm sitting there, it's gonna, like, I'm gonna hit you hard, like I'm gonna try to do something, I'm gonna try to muscle you, I'm gonna try to do this, I'm gonna try to do that, versus looking like you're boxing without an actual like way to beat him. It doesn't look like like there's an attempt. It looks like
Man,
you're
he was
boxing,
running,
but
man. Just keep it 100.
He
He
didn't
was
have a
yeah,
running.
he was fighting.
He was
It
running.
was like he
yeah,
didn't have a
He
purpose.
was
It was
running.
almost like
yeah,
he
He
had
didn't have
exactly.
no heart. He didn't have no heart. He talking about he was doing it for the culture. That's cappuccino. He
Mhm.
was not
Yeah,
doing it for the culture. He was doing it for a check because
yeah,
Canelo was the superior fighter.
yeah,
Canelo don't play. Like
yeah.
people was talking about
Canelo
Canelo
was walking through the
slow.
park.
You
Was
say
walking
what?
him through the park. I feel like he didn't get knocked out, so it's like Canelo was like gradually just walking through the park. Like, okay, you're gonna get to the end of this, and that's what's gonna be, and boom, you know.
Man, that
Like, I
was
feel like,
crazy. Like that was,
yeah,
to me, like you said, his actions didn't line up to his words.
yeah.
And
Like
to
the
me,
I don't care type thing. It's like I want you to see
yeah,
that I don't care. I want you to see that
I
I
didn't
don't
see
care.
it. Did you see it?
no. I just saw
I
Yeah,
didn't
him.
see
I
it.
just saw him at one point. He just didn't even have any purpose. It was
yeah,
like he
and it
just.
sucks. I was giving him so much credit because I like
I did too.
when people were asking me about the fight, my response was he has the character to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's
He
what I
had
kept
no
saying.
dog. He had
I,
no dog.
I know, but that's what I kept saying.
He
Like,
had
yo, he
no
has the
dog.
character to do it. He's a
I
character to do
agree
it.
with you. I did too.
Hey,
I
Chan,
did
he ain't
too.
had no dog. He had meow.
Mm-hmm.
He had a
Yeah.
feline that night. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And here's the other thing that I didn't like about Charlo. How he disrespect his brother wife, calling her B's and H's and stuff like that, bro.
I
I
didn't
didn't
see
like
that.
that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't
And
like
and that's one thing me and my brother could never do. Like, I was happy that his brother saw him in the change room and everything. But when my brother's fighting, it's like I'm ready to be his bad boy. You know what I'm saying? Anything my brother
Mhm.
needs so we both know what the game is. So if I'm fighting and he's not fighting, it's like we're there for each other 100%. I came back to Vegas prior to me finding out that I had a fight, to be with my brother in his last couple of days of training camp, because he was off for a few months, but just to make sure like everything's okay. Like I didn't care if I'll spend my last dollar on him to make sure that he's okay for the fight, and no one's gonna come between me and my brother, especially when it comes to us getting into the ring, because we know that the fears and the nerves, everything that goes into it. So part of everything being checked off is being my brother being okay with each other. How could you be fighting for the biggest fight of your life and you and your brother at odds? That's gonna play a part
That's
in the fight.
It's
crazy.
gonna play a big
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
crazy.
Yeah,
yeah.
don't
That's
make sense.
crazy.
And it's not good. You guys are supposed to like you're supposed to be demonstrating a bond like that. All twins know, like, you know what I mean? That's something different. Like you said, you guys made up. Then when he was in the fight, they hugged each other, but it just like, nah, man. Should
No,
have been
it's
before that. Should have been you both versus Canelo.
For sure.
He wins, you win. You know what I mean?
So, all right.
and
That
then I got one
130.
after you.
Huh?
I got one after you.
Okay. Chann, I ain't gonna lie. That 135 weight class is a monster.
Tough.
It's tough. You know, everybody talking about they the big dog, you know.
Yeah.
So I want you to give me your top 5 fighters. Now don't put yourself in it because I know you put yourself number 1. But
Okay.
I want you the top 5 fighters in the 135 class.
That I like the best.
Yes.
Number 1 is Tank, because Tank is actually knocking everyone out, and I like how he's not really like, he don't have no friends in boxing. Like he's cool with whoever he's cool with, but what I'm seeing a lot in today boxing is everyone's a friend. Everyone, these guys are friends. They have a clique. It's like it's weird. You know what I mean? It's like back in the day, it was just like, yo, I'm who I am, and you are who you are. So I really like Tank, for who he is, and
That's number
the
1.
fact that he's doing what he's doing in the sport of boxing. He's knocking everyone. He's knocking out who he's fighting. Like I'll say something after this. After I name the 5, definitely Shakur for his. He's sound. He's a sound fighter. You know what I mean? Like he's defense. He's on point. Like anyone that watches him, whether you're a boxer or a fan, you will learn something. You're gonna learn. You know what I'm saying, in the sport of boxing. So him. Well, Haney just moved up to 140, but I liked Haney. When I first saw Haney, I was like, damn. I'm like, he's the only other person that I would say that's cut from the similar cloth that like of myself in terms of like mobility, the way like, because Shakur he's not Shakur's not elusive. He's defensive, but he's not elusive. Haney's more of an elusive fighter. So I was like, wow, we're pretty much cut from the same cloth in terms of his elusiveness. So I like that. 135 and top 5 is like, cause all the other guys I don't really like. You know what I mean?
Well, then cut it off. Then top 3. Then just cut it off.
Then it has to be them 3 guys. You know what I mean?
I bet.
And what I was gonna what I think I was gonna say something. No, I forgot what I was gonna say. If it'll come back to me, I'll say it though.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you who you would like the opportunity to get into the ring with, but would you go up in weight to fight anyone?
Yeah, I would definitely. I'm focused on becoming world champion at this division.
Okay.
And then when I become world champion at this division, obviously my name will be spread abroad. So it's like, if I were to go up in weight, like I wouldn't want to go up in weight and then start not like at the bottom at 140 right now if I were to switch weights. But being the world champion at 135, it's like I can go face the champion at 140 and collect that belt, or maybe have to fight 2 fights and then get it. Versus not being it's like, okay, he's just a guy in division, but we don't really know who he is. Yeah, he was ranked, but you know what I mean? And someone who I really want to fight, if I could like even say they call me and said, yo, December you're gonna fight this guy or this guy, is George Cambosis. And I want to fight Pitbull Cruz, the guy who lost to Tank, because him more than the most, because to me it's an easy win. I don't like.
Oh, wait a minute, Chann. So you saying on the Stafford show that Isaac Pitbull Cruz is sweet? It's easy.
Yeah, easy. Tank beat him easy. In my opinion, Tank beat him easy. And imagine Tank don't even outbox people, and he outboxed him. You know what I'm saying? I'm a boxer. That's my strong suit. I have power, but I guess I'm known for knock people out too because I have 12 knockouts. But my strong suit, I'll say it, is my footwork, my boxing, my looseness. So that's what I lean on and to make everything come together. You know what I'm saying? The way Pitbull Cruz fights, it's like, how does a guy get famous? I mean, hey, losses shouldn't hurt fighters the way people think they do.
Mhm.
But he got famous because he lost and he didn't get knocked out. You know what I'm saying? And in my opinion, when I watched that fight, it was a clear indication of who won. Clearly, you know what I'm saying? If Cruz is gonna fight anyone that knows how to use their distance better than Tank Davis and be on their feet more, he's gonna look super weak.
So
Super
man,
weak.
so hold up, Chann. So in other words, you saying Isaac Pitbull Cruz is a glazed donut? He's that
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah. Without the no glaze though. No glaze.
Woo!
I
No
guess Krispy
glaze.
Kreme. Put the
Oh
hot bun
man,
on.
good lord, man. Okay,
I'll
so
put a choker on the pit bull. You understand what I'm saying?
dang,
I would put a choker on him and you know what I mean? Like
dang. Say man,
Okay.
listen. Listen.
What's up, Eddie?
I'm riding with you, bruh. I'm riding with you, bruh. Don't be like Charlo talk that talk and don't get, you know what I'm saying? He
yeah,
come to a fight and no bullets in his gun.
nah. Because to me, I always say like every fighter can be beaten with the right strategy. Ultimately, that's how I feel. You know what I mean? I don't feel like there's one supreme fighter. He's supreme because he knows what to do when it's needed to be done. But I think any fighter with the right tools that he has, and if he overwhelms them with his own abilities and has the right strategy, he could do it if he could pull it off. Right. Part of one of the main reason why my victories come is not so much that I'm just better than whoever it is that I face or they're not good or not. Is that again, every time whoever it is I face, God tells me what to do to prepare. You know what I'm saying? So whether I could beat that person right now, right? Whether I could beat that person right now, but if for some reason that I was called to fight whoever, and that was the fight, and that's what God told me to take, and we accept it, and it's going through. God's going to tell me what to do to prepare to be who it is I need to be on fight time. I've
The
transformed
Holy
myself in
Spirit.
many ways. I've transformed myself many times, and to be honest, I'll say boldly, right? Outside of the very few people that I know, when it comes to actual training, I doubt that you could put me next to anyone side by side, and I promise I'll train harder than him. I promise. There's no fighter that I could say, yeah, man, that guy could train harder than me. The only person that I could say that I don't know that would train harder than me is long gone, and it would be Bruce Lee. You know what I'm saying? Because
Ooh.
if I showed people some of the things that I do on a daily without even preparing for fights, it's absurd. No one can train. No, very few people can put themselves through that. Not even ex champions. It's like these guys. The only things that they have different than me is the fact that I started boxing at 19, and it's like, and again, that's going to show the glory to God a lot even more so because these guys been boxing their whole life. So when in terms of skill repetition, okay, they have that over me. But whatever I lack in experience, I make up in heart, and God definitely helps me do the rest. And when it comes to actually pushing my physical body through the regiment, that I don't know. I can say I will go farther than anyone that is boxing today. I promise.
I believe that
I
too.
believe
Yeah.
that, man. Hey, man. For real. Let me tip my hat to you, man. Like,
This is what he uses right
yeah,
here.
them spiritual gloves.
I was
Yeah.
gonna ask what was that standing for, but now that we're talking, I kind of understand.
See what I'm saying? That's what I was trying to tell you, man. Go ahead and do what you do, bro. See
Yeah,
what
that's what I'm
you
saying. And trust me, more times than not, it's like when I'm in the ring, it ain't me in the ring that night. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Because
them
as long as
spiritual
God,
gloves, man.
trust
It's them
me, trust
spiritual
me,
gloves. That's all it is. It's them spiritual gloves.
trust me. I'm telling you, it's not me in the ring when they're facing. They're not facing me. That's why, honestly, to be honest, when I'm done, when I step out of the ring and I hear people talk to me and the way they talk to me and praise me in the way that they praise me, that's how I know it's God because I don't recognize who you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? I don't. It's not that I don't view myself in that particular way because I do view myself as, but it's hard for me to be like, yeah, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. Of course, I'm the best and this and this. But it's like I know my mission. You guys are here to break records in boxing. I'm here to set the record straight. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's a big
Oh,
difference.
talk that talk,
Ooh.
Chann.
You know what I'm
Talk
saying?
that talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk it then, man.
Mm-hmm.
Talk it. Hey, listen. One of the guys that's on your card, Hot Rod.
No,
Who?
that was
Hot
in
Rod.
20. I told you that was in 2022.
I thought Hot Rod was fighting on this card.
No, I told you that was in
Oh,
2022
my
because I
bad.
went to Boswell Promotions
Oh,
and I
okay.
was reading up on it and looking at
Oh,
what
my
he
bad, my
had, and
bad,
then
my
I
bad.
told you it
Oh,
was
my bad, my bad,
2022.
my bad.
Yeah, he
So,
was on our show.
yeah. But look, so when I looked at your past interviews, I didn't see this part of Chann. Chann
Yeah.
really just expressing himself like, I wanted this interview to be different from all the rest of them.
Absolutely.
Meaning that you had an opportunity to be who you are. There wasn't no restraints about, well, I don't know if I
Well,
can talk like this.
the difference is also as well. It's like, you know, when God says two or more in my name, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Your platform is different. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why I made in the beginning of I said not to, because I only know how to speak about one topic properly, which is the topic of God. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said in the beginning, I'm like, yo, like I'm gonna turn this into a sermon if I don't know which direction to go. But most conversations that I speak with, it's like they're interested in boxing and boxing. To be honest, my brothers will laugh at me, and people who know me, a lot of people will ask me questions about boxing, like the kid Joseph Brown and my brother, we were here for all together, and they're like, Kurt's like, you know this fighter? I don't know any fighters. I don't really care, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to do what I'm here to do. Like I said, to set the record straight. And once through my journey, people will, like yourselves, I'll develop more followers and the more backing. And then when I get what the belts that I need to get, it's like, okay, I hand the mic off, you know what I'm saying, to the top and let him speak. And then and then the world will know, you know what I'm saying? Because, and also too, one thing that I'm going to do differently than a lot of champions today that do, I'm not just going to fight in America. Because the problem, being a world champion means a world champion. I already spoke to Cedric about this. This is one thing that I want to do. Yes, I'll defend the belt in America, but I want to defend it in America. I want to defend it in Asia. I want to defend it some places in Africa. I want to defend it in Dubai. I want to defend it in Canada. I want to definitely defend it in Jamaica, the world. And when I get my pays from some of the, when I receive like my money from the fights, a certain portion of it is going to stay where I am. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like I remember, I was I before I was like even close to where I'm at now in boxing, when I was boxing amateur, I was like living in like the hood in Montreal, like, you know, the ghettos a little bit. We were staying there. And this woman came and she was talking about sponsoring kids in Africa. And I was laughing, you know, and forgive me, but I was laughing. I said, it's minus like 25 degrees outside. Don't tell me you're not doing this for money. I said, hey, I'll sponsor a kid in Africa if you give him a laptop. I'll give him more than $20 a month. If you give him a laptop so me and him can talk to each other every day, I'm like, yo, I just sent my money. Did you get it? I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? But when I look at the world and they're asking people for charity in the hood or places that we don't have much money, it's absurd. Or especially when I go to a grocery store during Christmas and they have a basket, right? They have a basket at the door. The grocery store has a basket at the door to drop whatever your canned foods that you want to donate so that they can give it to homes. Okay, well, this place that you're buying food from makes X amount of $1 million a year and they have multiple chains. How come once a year they don't just give out the whole store? Find out the community, do the community work, find out who's struggling around the community and give out the whole store. Or because you're going to lose what, maybe $10 million that year. If you do that once a year, you'll lose 10 million. But you're going to help so much more. How are you going to ask us to pay you and then give out food from our own hand when this, you can give out the whole, just even every Walmart in every location once a year, right? Do random draws around the house, give out everything from the store. The world will be good. You know what I'm saying? The world shouldn't be the way that it is. And it's like, if I have to put my life on the line in terms of what I'm doing with my career and any other form, shape, way, or form to speak about the elephant in the room, I'm going to do it. And because I've had this feeling inside of me since I was young, right? Which I can't say because of this is why God chose me, but it's because of this why I was worthy. You know, many are called, few are chosen. I was called, and now God has chosen me. That's why if you look at your other conversations, if you look at any of my other interviews compared to this one, because my time is at hand. My time is at hand. I will be world champion in 2024. You know what I'm saying? So things are coming closer. So I'm being groomed and prepared. So my speech is stronger. My actions are greater. Everything about me is sharper. You know what I mean? I read the word more. Things are different inside of me now. You know what I mean? God is more present inside of me as well. You know what I mean?
Man,
I love
Chan,
this
I
conversation.
love this conversation, and I wish we can continue it. But I want you to share before we
Yes.
go. It's important for us on the Stafford Show
Hmm.
to hear our guests leave some encouraging words for those who may be struggling or for those who may need some hope. As you being a man of God, what can you sow in today's spirits so that they won't give up on today, but also move forward towards tomorrow?
Mm.
Yeah. Well, then I'll have to say in one of my favorite verses in the Bible is I believe it's Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1. Faith is the evidence of things not seen.
Mm.
So you have to always understand and believe that there is something greater than yourself that is divine, that is working on your behalf. So continue to move righteous, to love your neighbor as you would love yourself, and know that there is a force greater than yourself, which is God and the Holy Spirit and the Son, working your behalf to put you in a situation where you need to be. So the things that you are facing, right? Even though the struggles may not always be of God, God could always turn those things into a positive way, into something positive. So whatever it is you're facing is a screen for you to shed something that you're not supposed to move forward with into where you're supposed to, into where you're asking for to be. You know what I'm saying? So just believe in God, continue to work hard on your I would say continue to work hard. If it could be like 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day of physical activity, do it. Stop eating it. Don't consume so much sugar, and pray more. Pray more. Praying is the greatest weapon that anybody could wield. You know what I mean? Pray from your heart.
Well,
I
y'all
like
heard
that.
it. Y'all heard it from Chann,
But I
the
also want,
man, Thonson, and he said, if you ain't working, you're twerking.
Yeah.
and can you also let everyone know about your how they can reach out to you, like your social media
Okay.
platforms?
And also
My
tell them
and
and also tell them the date of your fight and
Yes.
when you fighting and all that other type
Okay.
stuff.
So I'm fighting November 15th on Showbox. It will be live on YouTube, so anyone can, and everyone can watch it. So I would appreciate it for everyone who's watching this who will
Hey,
watch
send
this.
us the link. Send us the link.
Okay,
All right.
I will. I'll only get it as the time comes closer, but I will send it. And you can find me. This I need the most help for this because my Instagram just got hacked. So follow me on Chann Thonson. Put those words together, Chann Thonson
Okay.
on IG and Chann Thonson on Facebook, and you can find me there and follow my journey.
Very good.
We'll make
Chan,
sure.
we thank you so much for
Thank
blessing us with
you.
these words of wisdom.
Absolutely.
We
Yes.
appreciate your spirit, man.
We're gonna have him back
We're
on
gonna have you back
the
on.
show after he gets
Yeah, that
his
WBC,
yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm saying, that green belt, you
Yeah,
get what I'm
absolutely,
saying?
absolutely.
And
I'll come
man,
to the show.
for sure, for
Yes.
sure, for sure, for sure. And man, listen, I want to tell you, man, the pleasure was ours, man. And
For
we
real.
appreciate you,
Facts.
man.
Thank
No
you.
cap.
Likewise.
Very
Thank you so
good.
much.
Stafford Boxing.
The making of champions. You know what it
Let's
is.
go.
Ah.
Let's go.